You've all watched movies where there's terrorists, right? We've all watched movies where they had hijackings or the plane gets hijacked. And what's the most iconic line you hear all of the time in any of those movies or in real life when it's happening and Americans get kidnapped? What's the line? We all know what it is. We don't negotiate with terrorists. You know why we don't negotiate with terrorists? It's a pretty simple explanation. Because when you negotiate with terrorists create more terror. When they think there's something in it for them, they continue to do it, making it more unsafe for everybody else. Brittany Griner is a great basketball player. She absolutely is. Brittany Griner, by her own admission, committed a crime by taking illegal substances into Russia when she was trying to play basketball over there during the summer a couple years ago. She shouldn't have done that, and the consequences are severe. It's no different than those 5 people that were down in the Turks and Caicos here recently that are all American citizens that all got detained because they had stray bullets in their backpacks and were facing up to 12 years in jail. The reality is, that's the law in that country. You broke their law. They were nice enough, Turks and Caicos were nice enough to say, look, we're going to give you guys a break this time, but that's the law. I want it all over the United States media that do not bring any ammunition into the Turks and Caicos, because if you do and we catch you, we're going to put you in jail. And they should. That's their laws. We are tourists. We are obligated to follow their laws, just like people that come into the United States are obligated to follow our laws. It's that simple. Brittany Griner broke a law in Russia. And what we did was negotiated with the people who put her in jail to give them an arms dealer that was absolutely responsible for the death of thousands of American people. We traded an international arms dealer that we've had in prison for 10 or 12 years for a basketball player who committed a crime and admitted to committing the crime. If I was a female basketball player in the WNBA right now, there's zero chance I'm going to play in Russia. Zero. Because I don't know how many other people the Russian government, of the Russian government, we have in our jails that they want back, and all they've got to do is take, I don't know, some CBD cartridge or something and just kind of stick it in my baggage and say, oh, you're going to jail, because Biden's already proven he'd negotiate with terrorists. Let's get a few more. They obviously will trade for basketball players. And let me ask you something. Now that he's already traded for one, and you're the second one that gets caught, and they decide, oh, well, we can't do it this time. Now what? How's that work out? But that's just one example. So here's the one that really matters. Anthony Blinken, who is, by the way, the exact same person who went to those intelligence agents 2 days prior to the debate in which Joe Biden said, they called it Russian foreign disinformation or Russian disinformation. He is the exact same person who did that. But Anthony Blinken, who is our Secretary of State, has now decided to give Hamas a ceasefire deal that was written in the exact same terms that Hamas wrote it the first time. Guess what Hamas did? They said, no, we're not accepting that ceasefire. Because you got a bunch of people that don't want a ceasefire to begin with. If they wanted a ceasefire, Anthony Blinken, I'm going to get back to the second point here. Anthony Blinken offered them a ceasefire deal that was in their writing, the ones that they proposed, and they said no. So don't tell me anything about a ceasefire. I don't want to hear anything about that. But why? They did it without Israel knowing they were doing it. Our greatest ally in the Middle East. You went behind our greatest allies' back. You have publicly announced that you are trying to secure a deal with Hamas with Israel cut out of it. While Israel is at war with Hamas right now, you are cutting out our greatest ally in the Middle East and negotiating with the terrorists directly? Who does that? Robert Gates, was on staff with Barack Obama, one of Obama's guys, not on my side of the aisle. Robert Gates said, and I quote, "Joe Biden has been on the wrong side of foreign policy for 50 years, on every foreign policy for the last 50 years. Barack Obama also said, I think this is a quote, "Don't underestimate Joe's ability to F things up." That's his old boss. That's not me. His old boss said, "Hey, don't underestimate that old man's ability to screw things up. He's pretty good at it. He's been screwing a lot of stuff up." You are negotiating with terrorists against the wishes of our greatest ally in the Middle East and leaving them out to dry while continuing to say how much you support them while also calling for a ceasefire. Who are you and what in the world are you doing with our president? Because the person who's supposed to be running the world is letting it catch on fire. You don't negotiate with terrorists for a reason. You don't leave your allies hanging out for a reason. We have to be better, people. We have to. This sock puppet that's in the White House right now, forget all of the other stuff. He's going to get us all, aside from the fact that there are known terrorist cells coming across the border on the southern border, and we're doing nothing about it. There's going to come a day of reckoning where we are going to be attacked by terrorists again on our own soil. I don't know whether it'll be before or after the election, but I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Why are they coming? What's their other purpose? If they're not coming to do some sort of terror to us, what's their purpose for coming? All right, that's my two things I wanted to talk about today. And hey, I'll think of something else I want to talk about here in a little bit. Tune back in next time. This is Bo Knows. Have a great day, everybody.